What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more Am I the Butthole? And if you'd like to skip that initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, as it all massively helps out our channel. Now with that being said, let's jump straight in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Now our first story comes from Daisy Chained 23. Would I be the arsehole if I tell my best friend I'm feeling insecure about her pregnancy? Okay, so I, 24 female, have been best friends with her, 23 female, for 11 years now. She is closer to me than anyone else in the whole world, including our exes and our family. She knows a lot of things about me that no one else knows. She's my person. A few years ago, we got kinda drunk together and joked that maybe we should just get married and have kids together, like platonically. I love her to bits, just not like that. Anyway, some guy she started dating 4 months ago got her pregnant, and they have decided to keep it and raise it together. I know this is a huge thing for her, and I should be happy for her, but I'm not. This guy isn't good enough for her. He's an arsehole, and one day he's gonna wind up hurting her and their kid. Also, I'm worried she won't have time for me anymore because everything will be about raising the baby and working to have money to provide for it. 3 years back, I had a pregnancy that ended in miscarriage, so I guess I'm also insecure that she gets to have a baby and I don't. So yeah, would I be the arsehole if I told my best friend that I'm insecure about her pregnancy because I'm envious and her boyfriend isn't good enough for her and she's not going to have time for me anymore? I know telling her these things is kind of a dick move, but the alternatives would be either hiding my feelings and then one day blowing up about it, or just ghosting her and disappearing from her life, which both seem worse. Would I be the arsehole? And there is a couple of updates to this one, very, very small ones on why they're going after the comments kind of thing. So we'll cover some of the comments first, and then we'll come back to the update. To me in this one, it just sounded like a lot of jealousy feelings. And I mean, it started by saying, also I'm worried she won't have time for me anymore because everything will be about raising the baby and working to have money to provide for it. And then there was having the baby, and then OP might not be able to have one. Then finally goes on to say, I'm envious her boyfriend isn't good enough for her and she's not going to have time for me anymore. So obviously there's a lot of jealousy stuff that you need to sort out. And I'm not going to totally blow up on you for having those feelings, you know. We all go through this process in life where we have friends that we're really close to, and then life moves on and we get partners and stuff like that and slowly drift away from each other. So yes, it is an arsehole move if you was to tell her you're insecure about her pregnancy, because that's just not fair on her. You need to sort your own self out here, but it is also part of life as well. But Westkit says you would be the arsehole. She's pregnant. Deal with it. You have presented no reason why you think her partner will one day hurt her and the child. Based on what you've presented in your post, it sounds like pure jealousy. Teeny Gecko says, yeah, you would be the arsehole. Sounds like you might be in love with her. You seem to think the options are A, telling her that this guy isn't good enough for her. He's an arsehole and one day he's going to wind up hurting her and their kid. That you're insecure because you had a miscarriage and that you're also scared that she won't have time for you. B, hiding your feelings and then one day blowing up about it. C, ghosting her and disappearing from her life. But you are forgetting D, communicating things calmly and letting her react to your feelings. You can explain that you're feeling a bit jealous over a new boyfriend and that you're worried about her. That you're also touchy around pregnancies because of your miscarriage, which I'm so sorry about. I hope you can let go of the negative feelings around this someday, and that you ultimately just want what is best for her. You should realize that she is an adult and can make her own decisions, which you should respect and try to support. And Chibi Guinea Pig says, please don't, this whole situation is hard enough as it is for her. Last thing she needs is her best friend doubting her decision. Suck it up and support your friend, and Jesus fucking Christ, not everything has to be about you. Just because you had a miscarriage, your friend can't have kids anymore? An Organic Extension says you would be an arsehole. Why should she carry your issues? If you feel insecure about something she can do nothing about, go see a therapist. It wouldn't be fair to tell her that you're jealous she didn't miscarry and that you think her boyfriend is a deadbeat. Now we'll check out the little update which says, update, okay, so a lot of people told me to get therapy, so I figured I'll let you know I've booked myself in with a therapist next week. Update 2, right, can people stop saying I'm in love with her? I'm definitely not. I know that I'm not. We've been friends for 11 years, and that's all we've ever been or ever will be. Now, what do you guys make of today's first story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and we'll move on to the next one. And our next story is from Outrageous Dish 2624. Am I the arsehole if I still go to my brother's cancelled destination wedding? I, 25 female, have a brother, 27 male, who asked me to be a bridesmaid in his wedding. He and I went to a resort in Mexico as children and have always talked about going back. In 2019, he proposed and he decided to have his wedding there in 2021. In order to secure the group discount, he needed 10 people to sign up and prepay. Our whole immediate family prepaid for this trip, which also let the bride and groom get their rooms for free. They were upfront about this and we were happy to help. My brother and his fiancée just broke up, 2 months before the wedding. The travel agency is letting everyone get their money back, so the rest of our family got a refund. I was really looking forward to this trip, so I looked up how much it would cost right now to book for another time if we're not a part of the wedding, and because of the boom in traveling, we're saving around 33%, which is a lot. The travel agent let my brother know that we're keeping the reservation, and he is really upset. He feels like I'm going to his dream wedding in order to save a couple of bucks. My family said it would be okay if I went, but I can't talk about it and would have to hide it on social media. Am I the arsehole if I still go to my brother's cancelled destination wedding, even though it will hurt his feelings? Edit, for those asking for me to bring him, his trip was previously free because he was the groom and was getting at least 10 prepaid, possibly 100 people invited to book rooms. Now that they're cancelled, he'd have to pay. While not having budgeted to pay, it's all inclusive, so he can't just stay in my room with me. Now, I'm coming in straight away with a not the arsehole on this one, because you're not doing it to spite him. You're not doing it, to be petty or anything like that. You're just doing it because you really want a holiday, and that's absolutely great to take advantage of a good deal, I think. And I think in some ways the brother should be happy for you. But at the same time, I wouldn't say the brother is the arsehole either. He's perfectly valid to be feeling upset. From what I can see in this post, he's not lashing out, he's not doing anything negative towards you. All he's done is express that he's upset about the situation, and of course he is, he just broke up with his fiancée, which being upset is a perfectly valid feeling. He would be the arsehole if he did sort of start making backhanded comments towards you about it and stuff like that, but for just having the feeling of being upset is totally valid. Being upset is a normal everyday feeling, so I'm not going to criticize that in this one. But we'll go to the comments to see what they say. And we're going to start off with any scientist who says not the arsehole. Your brother is upset about one thing and lashing out at another. Go and enjoy yourselves, just don't rub it in his face. Keep off social media or limit what he has access to. All My Love says not the arsehole. It sucks they broke up and all, but it's your money, and if you want to go on vacation, why not? Honestly, I think the whole family should still go, and he should reclaim the vacation for himself. Might make him feel better to have the quality time with you all. D Booker says no one's an arsehole here. It's not unreasonable for you to take advantage of a good deal to have a vacation. Lord knows I could use one after the last year and a half. It's also not unreasonable for your brother to be upset about it, since he is likely still hurting from the breakup. Though him saying you're stealing his dream wedding is a bit dramatic, that I do agree on. Hell, even your parents' recommendation to not post on social media isn't unreasonable. It's a crap situation, but everyone got their money back. You just chose to get yours back as a vacation. Jeepers Creepers 74 says not the arsehole, unless you were planning on staging a brideless and groomless ceremony. You're not going to a cancelled wedding. You're going on vacation somewhere you have been before. It's unreasonable for your brother to demand that you all share equally in the pain of his breakup. And we have a couple more comments with Love Me Long Time who says, sucks for your brother that his wedding fell through. You, however, are going on vacation, and this now has nothing to do with him. Maybe don't wear the bridesmaid's dress while out drinking margaritas and dancing, and posting that on Insta, but damn, this isn't about your brother and his wedding. Not the arsehole. And one more from Sordines who says, no one's an arsehole here. How are you getting the discount if the group reservation is cancelled? I would say as long as it's not costing anybody money, then no one's an arsehole here. Because it's also understandable that brother will be a little upset in general. Also, did you consider inviting brother? I've known some people that still went to a bachelorette vacation even after the breakup. Could help take his mind off things. Now, what do you guys make of this one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and we'll move on to the next story. And our next story comes from Power Winder. Am I the arsehole for not covering my co-worker's shift when she can't get a babysitter? Title sounds mean and maybe it is, not sure. I work in retail, but we're union, and there's a thing in the contract that everyone is supposed to get one weekend day off every month. It's not much, but better than nothing. I have this coworker that's part-time, but only works 7 till 12 or 1 Monday to Friday because she has a kid. I'm not sure if they told her she needs to open up her availability or what, but lately she's been scheduled weekends too. Every time she's scheduled on weekend, she goes around trying to get someone in the department to cover her shift. If she can't get anyone to cover, she just calls in. Well, I'm scheduled off tomorrow, and she's seen it on the schedule and approached me yesterday. First she started by bringing up the weekend, and she noticed that I was off and asked if I had anything planned. I said no, because I don't, and in my opinion, I don't need a reason not to take a shift. Then she asked if I would mind covering her shift for her. I said yeah, I would mind. It's my first Saturday off since the beginning of June. She seemed to accept it and walked away. A couple of hours later, she asked again, stating that it's only a 5-hour shift from 7 till 12, and I'd have the whole afternoon still off. I said no. She said, but I can't find a sitter on weekends for my kid. I said that's not my problem. She said, but you don't have kids, so it's not a big deal if you work a Saturday. I just walked away. Later, our assistant manager came up to me and said that coworker was offended by me saying, not my problem, about the sitter and coworkers help each other out. I said yeah, but she can't ever help me out, so no, I want my Saturday. Apparently now it's my fault, they're short-handed tomorrow. Am I the arsehole for not covering when I probably could, but I just don't want to because I'm sick of my coworker expecting everyone's weekends off? Absolutely not the arsehole. You was totally right. It's not your problem. And I was going to come from an empathy standpoint, and I do feel sorry for anyone, that struggles with getting childcare, because sometimes it can be just more cost effective to stay at home than actually pay a babysitter. So I do understand from that point of view, but where the person totally lost my sympathy is when they went to the manager and actually complained about OP not wanting to cover their time. I mean, it isn't their problem, so actually complain about it as well makes you entitled, and we don't like that on this channel. So absolutely not the arsehole to me. But Winds of Winter Please says not the arsehole. Your boss is the biggest arsehole for scheduling her, then guilting you for not picking up her shifts. Then she is the second arsehole for not figuring out her babysitting needs and complaining about you for covering for her. You are right, it is not your problem. You have the ability to say no, and some people spend years in therapy developing this. Good for you. GCR Knoll says, not the arsehole. If everyone is required to work on a Saturday, then the manager needs to make her work Saturdays. She knows it's a condition of the job, she needs to find a sitter. Or look for work elsewhere. It isn't your problem, and it is not fair to all other employees who have to work Saturdays. Keith Blog says, see, this right here is why I hate working in retail. The drama is so frickin' over the top. A manager gets in on it too. Christ on a pogo stick. You didn't have to give her the time of day. Not your circus, not your monkeys. You answered, she pushed. Her logic is selfish and despicable. She's the arsehole, and so is the management that came to plead her case. You, however, not the arsehole. Edited to add, OP, enjoy your Saturday off. Second edit, thank you for the award. I can now cash it in to start training my monkeys. Kidding in all seriousness. Thank you. Bucky says not the arsehole. You're right, it's not your problem. She can't find anyone to babysit for 5 hours on a Saturday. I find that extremely hard to believe. My guess is she just likes having her weekends off. The manager is an arsehole too. They are the ones scheduling her outside of her availability, not you. You deserve your weekend day off. Just because you don't have kids doesn't mean you should give it up. And one more from Meadow of Sun, who says, and quotes, later our assistant manager came up to me and said that coworker was offended by me saying, not my problem, about the sitter and coworkers help each other out. And then says, I can't imagine going to a manager and saying I was offended by a coworker who didn't want to cover my shift. The manager then repeating, that is not dealing in reality. Why would it matter if someone is offended in this scenario? You have no responsibility to cover her shifts, and getting the manager involved over hurt feelings is immature. Not the arsehole. Now, what do you guys make of this one? I know quite a few of you have worked in retail or do work in retail, so let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And we'll move on to the next story. And our next story comes from Competitive Fudge 96. Am I the arsehole for basically ignoring my dad's existence in my life? I, 18 male, always wanted to have a relationship with my dad, 53 male. But yeah, he never wanted to. When I was young, I used to always ask him to do stuff with me, like going out to watch a game, play computer games, play board games, play catch, literally anything. But no, he never wanted to. He'd rather spend time reading his books than his son. I always used to complain about this to my mum, and she would tell him to spend time with me, but he never did. So basically, he's just a cash machine to me. I stopped complaining to my mum about it and I've given up. Been like this for years now. I barely interact with him. The last time I spoke a word was 4 weeks ago. I don't even remember the last time I had a proper conversation with him. A few days ago, I did mention about this to my mum, and she kind of felt guilty and has most probably forced him to spend time with me. Since then, he has been coming to my room, trying to start a conversation, and I've been ignoring him. Today, he entered while sitting and reading a book on my bed. When he started speaking, I literally turned 180 degrees and continued reading. He got pissed and said, "Look, if you don't want to talk, just don't talk. Don't insult me by turning your back on me," and walked away. Mum later came in and told me that I shouldn't have been so cruel to him and should have shown some enthusiasm. I just didn't want to because at this point, I don't want anything from him. Am I the arsehole? Again, this one's going to be a quick one with a not the arsehole from me. You know, you're totally valid in the way you're feeling and stuff like that. The only thing I would say is, do you want to get your point across rather than, turning your back 180 degrees on him? Not that I'm complaining that you did that or anything, but surely you want him to know how exactly you're feeling. So let him know, let him have what he's done and say these are the consequences of your own actions. My only other question is, and again, it might not be relevant at all, is, are you sure you don't want any kind of relationship in the future? Sure, he's totally messed up now, and does he deserve forgiveness? I don't know, I can't say. But are you going to regret not having a relationship at all with your father going forward? Because it will sort of cement things from here on, I think. Sure, the mum has told him to come into your room and start maybe trying to correct things here. Not that they probably can be corrected now, but if he has put in any slightest effort into it, do you want to reciprocate that and get involved? I don't know. I'm just throwing things out here there. I'm just throwing things out there just in case, because I wouldn't want you to look back on it and regret it, That's the only thing I'm thinking here, but I'm pretty sure you wouldn't. But Mystic Spiral says, not the arsehole, he missed his chance, and frankly, him being forced to spend time with you by your mum is insulting and just rubbing salt in the wound. Too little, too late. He made his bed. Yeah, there is that point too, isn't there really? Obligatory Burner says, not the arsehole. Oh, I looked at you for 30 seconds. Your decade of hurt and resentment must be absolved by now, surely. He's ignored you for 18 years and suddenly you're just supposed to be grateful he's spending forced time with you. Fane says, not the arsehole, but maybe you could tell him how you feel, because your anger towards him is 100% legitimate. Driftwood says, not the arsehole, and you are most definitely entitled to think and do as you choose. I would, however, have a conversation with him. Tell him everything you said here, how hurt you are, etc. And while I'm not siding with your father, allow him to explain his actions. There could be some dynamic going on that you aren't aware of. And even if you do talk, that doesn't mean you can't continue to ignore him. By talking, you are both at least on the same page. Have you heard the song Cats in the Cradle by Harry Chapin? I don't know if I got that name right, it might be Shapin. Connie Dreer says, not the arsehole. He had his moment to interact with you. If he didn't want to at that moment, why should you have to give him the opportunity when he wants to? However, you should not simply ignore him, but stress the point that you've asked him many times to be with you in your childhood and he didn't want to. Tell him how bad you felt and that he should come to his senses. And the Ricky Maneuver says, Mum, I wasn't being cruel. Dad doesn't really want to spend time with me. He's only making an effort because you guilted him into making an effort. If he ever genuinely wants to talk to me or spend time with me, I'd really like that. But as long as it feels like I'm just a burden on some benign responsibility, I really don't see a point in it. Not the arsehole. Now, what do you guys make of this story? How would you act if you was OP? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and your verdicts on all of today's stories. They would absolutely mean the world to me, but never any pressure to share them either. And just a huge thank you for spending your time with me today. It means the absolute world. Thank you for your love, support and time, and I will see you in the next one. Take care guys. Much love.